Felicia
From the
Michaels,
moment
my
you hear his
princess,
voice, you
has been
know they're
entertaining
going to be
audiences
problems.
with a unique
Joey
style
Coco Diaz has
of
been rocking
provocative humor
comedy
since the
stages for
90s, all right?
15 years.
With her
You've seen him in
tongue-in-cheek,
films and
she's been
television,
exploring
but
such
his real
topics as the
patois, as
dynamics
he's
of the
fond of saying,
male-female
are the
relationships,
stories from
or
his
as we call
past
them here in
and
the
his
studio,
chaotic
dirty
views on
thoughts,
life that will make
and
this
the
podcast
proliferation
a different
of the
beast.
sensual
Raw
feminist.
pain and
She's a little
passion is how
firecracker
really
rolled up, and that's why I
describe
love her,
this
and that's why you're going to
Cuban-born
love listening. So
New
tune in,
Jersey
all right?
Animal.
You got the heat on?
No, there's no heat on. It's just you and me that's gonna cause some friction today.
It's cold in here, like a motherfucker.
You're
I like it.
rubbing your hands together, trying to get warmth, or you have a conspiracy theory you'd like to share with me and have me participate in.
I got dick. I got nothing for you. Greetings to all you podcasters out there in Podcastville. We're back, bitches. Beauty and the Beast. Felicia Michaels.
I'm Joey Diaz.
What's up? Happy New Year to all you fuckers. You're back. We're here. We made it. The Mayans were wrong. We got 1 year, 2 years away from the world
I
ending.
know, I'm sick of everyone saying the Mayans, the Mayans, the Mayans, the Mayans. Fuck those Mayans.
The Koreans are going to end this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? The Koreans are going to bomb us.
My
the
vote
fucking
is the Chinese, honestly.
The Chinese, fucking let the Chinese rock too. I ain't scared of nobody. Chinese, Korean, this is all coming to an end. It all ends. It's great. That's it. It's a whole new year. It's a whole new set of circumstances. You're back. You're looking prettier than ever.
Well, you're looking mighty cozy yourself there.
It's cold out there.
It's cold, right?
50 degrees, and we're
50
freezing out
degrees,
in
it's terrible.
California. I remember I used to drink in 10 below zero with a glove on and a hat with a fucking eyeball out. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm bitching about 50 degrees. I remember if you Google Hudson County Park is where in northern New Jersey, it's a park right across from New York City. It's where the Martians land the most. People don't know this, that Hudson County, New Jersey is where you have the most Martian sightings.
Oh, really?
But this particular park, Hudson County, is across from a circular building called the Stonehenge. But since so many drug dealers call them there, they call it the Grinder.
Right.
This is a circular building. And across from the Grinder there, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but across from the Grinder there, they've actually seen people dig, like they had like people on their balcony smoking a cigarette at 3 a.m, and they've actually seen like Martians land and dig, and they call the FBI and they shut off the park. And
come on, if Martians are gonna land, are they really gonna get out there and dig? Because
I
you did like the little shovel action.
Look it up and
really?
Google it. I didn't know, so somebody told me a couple of years ago that Carlstadt and North Bergen, New Jersey is where you get the most sightings fucking ever. I don't even know where I'm going with this.
That's okay.
That's why, thank God, I didn't smoke pot this morning. You follow me?
Right.
I did. No, I smoked early, but it wore off. I came down off the fucking Jimmy. You follow me? So what are we getting to about Hudson County Park? I was going to talk about something about Hudson County Park.
About the circular building, the Grinder.
Oh, no, I know what it was.
Okay.
In this Hudson County Park, there's like every other park. There's a little lake.
Yeah.
And in the middle, there's like a little island of birds and shit. And we were kids. We used to paddle around 50 cents. You could paddle around. But then when the thing freezes up in the winter, we used to have what's called the Island of Insanity Party. And it would freeze, and we'd carry a keg across. And I mean, 2 years in a row, I only went to 2 of them. It was like a tradition, but I only went to 2 of them. And both years, like I did Quaaludes and drank and woke up like in an alley. But it was like the coldest night in New York City, like those nights where they have it because the ice can't break, you know? And I remember going out, it was like a 0 with the wind coming off the Hudson River and shit. And not saying fucking boo, Felicia. Not saying boo. Having a bunch of gloves on with your fingers out to hold the beer.
Right.
I remember the beer would freeze while you were drinking outside, and I wouldn't say boo. And I would go out from 9 at night to 3 in that cold weather. And now I walk to the car and I freeze my fucking balls off. I cry like a little girl. I made my wife throw the heat on. We live in L.A., and I made my wife throw the fucking heat on. You better have the heat on in the morning from now on, man.
I like a warm house. I can't stand when you go spend the night at someone's house and it's freezing. My sister-in-law used to have a house like that. It'd be like, God damn.
I don't mind that. The house has to be warm, but the bedroom has got to be a freezer.
Really?
Oh,
really?
My wife sleeps with a snorkel on. She sleeps with boots on. I never seen that. I get to bed. I'm like, what do you got on your feet? Boots. I mean, it is fucking cold in my room, Jack. It's got to be fucking freezing, Felicia.
Oh, wow.
I want to go under the blanket and dream that I'm a homeless guy and I'm outside sleeping. That's my whole fetish. That's how I fall asleep.
That's how you fall asleep?
Yeah. I'm a homeless guy. It's freezing out here. I'm going to get some Z's before the fucking lights get turned on in the daytime.
That is funny. Well, my kids always try to crawl in bed with me, and they're like little fucking heaters, like little batteries and heaters. Like, get away. They make me all sweaty. I hate that feeling. I hate being under the covers. It makes me feel like when your feet are trapped. You ever get that? It makes me feel claustrophobic. I remember being that way when I was a little girl. I have a memory when I was a baby of being in, like, you remember the little baby snowsuits, but there were no legs. It was just like a sleeping bag on the bottom, but it's, like you've seen little
Yeah,
babies
yeah,
in
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I remember wearing one of those when I was a kid and like kicking at it, like, get me the fuck out of here. I have that memory about, I must have
That's
been
amazing
about
that you remember that long.
a
I
year
don't
and a
remember
half
shit
old.
from my birth. I wore those little suits with a knife. I was like 2 with a little fucking knife. What up, bitch?
With a little pen knife.
It's hysterical. One of my memories as a kid, I remember being in New York City and my mom putting me on a mule, like on 86 in Broadway with those mules in front of that bank on the corner where you take a picture of your kid on a mule. Then I
Right.
wouldn't get off and she had to beat the fuck out of me on Broadway. I remember that, crying all the way with my picture on it. It was still soggy.
I know.
Years later, I can still see the teardrops on the picture from me fucking crying. She made me hold it on the way home while I was crying. But the podcast is every week we get different emails from different people, and people are going through shit. Some people just. But the main thing about this podcast that I wish people is that a lot of people have called and said or emailed and said that this podcast has changed them around and give them a different outlook on life. And I hope that we keep doing what we're supposed to do, and that people keep emailing us with great
Oh,
ideas and
absolutely.
suggestions. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really proud about this podcast
You know what?
lately.
I'm super proud about this podcast too because we didn't overthink it, and I feel like we don't do anything we're not comfortable with, and I love that it's pretty fucking raw.
Last
And
week's podcast, I listened to it this morning because I usually listen to the podcast the night before or the morning of we do the other ones. And I got to tell you something. Last week's podcast was some of the craziest shit I have ever heard in my life out on a table.
yeah,
And you don't know it while you're doing it. And when you listen back to it, you're like, oh my God. I talked about robbing Bill Crouch Subaru for the 400 and attacking that poor girl who I didn't even know what her name was in the 6th grade. I didn't even remember that shit till we were talking about it that day.
right,
That's what's great
right.
about this. That
Hey, yeah,
we come in here with a plan to talk about plan A, and all of a sudden we get on to plan B, and it's just fucking fine because it's even a more interesting topic than plan A. We just had to talk a little bit to get it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the podcast in this sense. When you do comedy, absolutely, as you know, when people laugh at something ridiculous you say, they're laughing because they acknowledge, yeah, I've had that thought, or that's happened to me, or that crazy shit happened to a friend of mine. And when you tell the stories about, especially last week about the circling around that poor girl, I mean, shit like that. Look, it happens. Look, I made out in the 7th grade in my bedroom with a pillow between me and my best girlfriend, and I'm not gay, but I made out with her because we pretended we were like, a man and a woman, and we just got married. That's what you do, and you would think your whole life you go through like, don't tell anyone you made out with your girlfriend in the 7th grade in your bedroom with a pillow between you. You know what I mean? But the truth is, people do a lot of ridiculous shit, and we're not all so original.
It's crazy because after listening to the podcast this week, I realized why people email us and why we hit a nerve. You know why? Because we all do share one thing: fucking secrets and past mistakes. We
Absolutely.
have past mistakes that we talk about with humor and we giggle and shit, and then we have secrets. And sometimes when you put secrets out there, that everybody has them and everybody's ashamed of them. And some guy wrote in last week that he has got depression and he had to get whacked to write the email to us,
Uh-huh.
because he's suffering from all this. And it's just weird that these people are opening up to us the same way we're opening up to people.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
we
Yeah.
give them a gift first, and then they give it back. They teach you,
Absolutely.
like when you're a salesman, to offer the people coffee because people feel indebted once you offer them coffee or water or a pen or a calendar or something. And it's the same with energy. And I didn't fucking know this. I mean, this is what I love about life, that you learn something new every day, even if it isn't the entertainment. You learn that, Jesus Christ, here we're putting out shit about. Listen. I never dreamed of going on a podcast or a radio show and talking about mugging a hooker or talking about pissing on a guy in a gay club, in a fetish club, but all of a sudden on this podcast, we put it out there.
Right.
And I'm just happy that we did this. I'm happy that
Yeah,
we
me
picked
too,
this. And
Joey. Me too.
it's weird. We talked about last week about my uncle. That's still fucking bothering me. And I talked to him finally yesterday. I went to my uncle's for Christmas.
Right.
And I told you that he was asking me if I wanted a bump. I mean, this is just to let you know about the Valdez blood. That's the other side of me. They're fucking nuts. That's my mother's side of the blood. They're just out of their minds, you know, and they're driven by misery. That's what drives them. Some people are driven by pain or whatever. These people are driven by misery. They want to be miserable. And he kept asking me if I wanted to do a blast. And I didn't think about it, Felicia, till the next day. Like, I was like, that's weird because he knows my situation. I just don't want to. And we were talking about how he, cheated on his wife. He had a mistress and then he had another woman pregnant. So he cheated on the mistress and the wife and then has this kid. And it's just a household of pain, you know? And it's
Right.
amazing how I was telling you how growing up, if I had a friend or a criminal friend that cheated on his wife or his girlfriend, I always kept that dude at a distance. We did whatever we did, but through life, I tried to get rid of him. Not that I'm here judging somebody, but I figured to myself, if somebody turns on the person they walk down the aisle with, they'll definitely turn on
Right.
me if the cops sit them down. And it's so weird. When I told you that last week I left you, I couldn't believe I said that to you. But it's the truth about that. That's how I feel sometimes. And I judge somebody like that. And I hate to judge him, but if the cops sit him down, he's going to rat on me. He
Right.
cheats on his fucking. What's he gonna? He's got no loyalty to me, you know. So it's just weird the little things that you learn. And I talked to my uncle last night. I didn't have the heart to say nothing to him. Like, I'm not really mad at him because I understand where he comes from. And sometimes you really can't get mad at people because I know where his heart is, but I understand where he comes. I mean, he's a miserable guy. You know, he
Right.
ruined his family with his fucking cheating. I mean, the daughter's fucked. The other boy that's his and the wife, he has a wife, and the wife doesn't like to be around him, you know, and you can't, it's
Right.
true. It's like,
And there gets a point where you just can't, there serves no purpose in spewing your guts at someone. I mean, I think you get to this point, like, for example, my father is blind, and he went blind because he has a weird form of arthritis, and it goes to like the weakest soft tissue in your body. And for him, that was his eyes because he was in Vietnam and he saw a lot of explosions. Like when I was a kid, he used to always wear Roy Orbison sunglasses. Everyone thought my dad was the coolest, but no one really knew he really couldn't take the sunlight. And because of that experience that he had when he was in the army. And it's weird to me that, he never saw his family around him when he was a younger man. And you know what? Back then he was 22 when he had kids. You know, if people still have kids that young, but that you
you're
know
not
that
ready
that
for it.
you're not ready for it.
That's mentally,
But
it's
that was his life lesson, and he didn't really respect his family around him or take care of his family around him the way he should have. And now he's at the point in his life where he's learned a lot of lessons. And by the way, people do change. I hate when people say, "Oh, people never change." People change
fuck yeah.
all the fucking time. And my dad changed after my brother's death, and my dad became the person he was supposed to become. He's very caring. He always calls me. He is kind to his grandkids. He's really turned into like this amazing person. But it's a karmic thing to me that now that he has his whole family around him, he's not able to see his family. You know what I mean? Like it's karma still. But it serves no purpose for me to go, remember when you did that? And I'm still pissed. And this is
Oh,
bullshit. And
it's
it irks me when I'm at your house and this goes down. You know what? At this point, it serves no purpose. People have their own, I hate to be this pathetic slob, but path. And sometimes the greater good is, and I've learned this year, is just sometimes shutting up and listening and being there for someone when they're unhappy, like your uncle. You can still be there for him. And even though he does that, offering you a bump, that was really uncool because he knows what you've been through.
no, but I'm not like some people are like, oh my God, he offered me, I'm in recovery. I'm not into,
No,
I
that's
just
what I'm
can't believe, I
saying.
can't
Yeah,
believe
but
his,
that's what I'm
his
saying.
mental state. And I got to tell you something, Felicia, and this is something, and just to reframe what you said, for years I didn't think people could change. And people don't change, they just come to realize. It's not really a change, you just come to realize. I came to realize that for me to go to the comedy store and do a set for $15 meant more to me than breaking into a house and selling a gram of coke. I got more satisfaction from the $15 than the 100.
Right.
I'm
Oh,
still a
I see what
fucking
you're
animal.
saying. Yeah.
You know I'm still a fucking
Yeah, yeah,
animal. You follow me?
yeah.
But that's what the thing is. You realize that these little things, fuck, I'm doing this for what? Deep, boom. Fuck it. I'm going to change this around. My uncle's 74 years old.
Yeah.
He's in no danger of realizing or changing. He's a stubborn, he's a Valdez. That's a side of the family that is just something from another planet.
Yeah.
That's one side of my family. That's my mother's side of the family.
Yeah.
There's something from another fucking planet. They're not even normal people. I'm telling you this as just something that I sit here and she's my mother. She's my mother. I'm stuck with her. You know what I'm saying? She's dead, whatever. But you can't understand this shit. What did you do with this money? What do you mean you blew it on the Yankees? You know, it's just amazing. And that's the Valdez's.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part of me that I had to always tame as a kid. That's that part of me you seen that night with Jeff Valdez.
Right.
That's the part of me. Valdez's, they're down for anything.
Yeah.
They're down, you know. My dad was a well-to-do guy from Camagüey, nice family, home, horses. And he married like a fucking ghetto woman.
Yeah.
And they were against him. You know, like my parents, like, are you fucking, my grandparents, like, are you fucking kidding me? Your whole family's doctors. You want to go mingle with some dirty girl down in Havana. And that's what happens. You know, sometimes together guys like that dirty shit. You know?
I know.
They really do. They like
and
that.
Thank God for you guys out there that do.
That's right. There's some guys that like, my mother, you know, there's some guys
Otherwise,
that like
there would be no chances for chicks like me.
You know, my wife is very opinionated. Believe it or fucking not, she don't say much, but when she does say something, she's very opinionated. And I respect her for it. I do. As much as pissed off I fucking get at her sometimes, you know. She'll say something to me that just freaks me the hell out. I'm scared of my wife.
Right.
That's what guys want. Guys want a little bit of mommy, but not really. We don't want you to come out with a belt and whip us in front of our friends.
Right.
We want you to say, let's go. You got to come home now. Really? I got to go home? Yeah, let's go. How about a word for our sponsors for the New Year's? Let's start off with Skin Industries, those bad motherfuckers. A leader in athletic apparel year in and year out. Our shirt will be out after January 1st. I'll be in the Beast collectible t-shirt with a picture of Felicia with a tit falling out of his shirt and myself farting. So we'll let you know on that. But go on to skinindustries.com, order something. They got great quality stuff. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
And hit him, Felicia.
If you would like to buy something for the new year for your beloved or just the whore down the street, go to adamandeve.com, place an order. If you find something you like, go down to the little promotional box, put in the word Felicia, Felicia, and you will get 50% off. Right?
3 free movies.
3 free movies.
A gel.
A gel.
A secret gift.
A secret gift.
And you get that, and you get free fucking shipping.
Yeah, free shipping.
You can't beat that. And they got cheap stuff in there for $10. So for $10, you could whack off for a month and, you know, get your own fantasies going. You follow me?
Absolutely. So go do that for us, because every time you order something from Adam and Eve, that's a good thing for us.
That's
right. This shit costs money.
That's right, bitches. As crazy as I am, coke, pussy, all that shit, New Year's for me was
nothing.
Taboo. Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, taboo. No blow on New Year's. No alcohol on New Year's. Since 83.
Yeah.
Since 83, I just watched people get fucking blasted on New Year's.
That's pretty crazy.
And I thought it was because of the time when the kid bit the kid's ear off that affected me, but it was 3. I was thinking about it the other day. It was 3 New Year's in a row. New Year's 80, I went to see the B-52s on New Year's Eve. It was a great fucking New Year's.
Oh, yeah,
and then when their album was hot, She Came from Planet Claire and all that shit. And then New Year's Day was Aerosmith at the Nassau Coliseum. And me and my buddies took some acid and went up there. Aerosmith was horrible as usual live. And on the way back, I'll never forget, and I thought about this the other day. I was at the boxing gym, and I was talking to the guy goes, "Oh, how come you don't get excited about New Year's?" And I go, "I'll tell you why." And we were on the acid. I had to be 16, maybe 15, 16, 17. I remember that the cops pulled us over, not because we were drinking or driving, but because there was an accident. So us on the acid get out of the car. And it was an RX-7. Remember the old school RX-7s, the 2-seaters? Where it hit a tree right down the middle. They had a blanket on the guy. The guy was DOA when he hit the tree. The woman, they were sawing her out of the car. And she was yelling. And those yells with the hit of acid destroyed my insides. Like, I didn't do anything for 2 months after that. Like, it was just, like, I didn't even get in cars. That's how traumatizing it was for me. And the year after, my friend got hit in the head with a bat, and we couldn't help him out. Then the year after that, my friend got his ear bit off, and after that, I said, that's it.
After that, you're like, fuck it.
Too many.
Yeah.
It's like Anthony Bourdain said it best on Twitter this morning. It's a douchebag apocalypse. Is that the brilliant thing ever?
God, I hate when a chef is more clever than us. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
A fucking douchebag apocalypse. And I'm not calling people who go out on New Year's douchebags, but it's other people. Like, listen, party people are party people. They go out on Sundays, Tuesdays, Mondays. They don't need New Year's.
Right.
They don't need New Year's. New Year's, you pass by that bar on Burbank in fucking Lancashire, the Silver Lounge. Those people don't give a fuck about holidays. Every day to those people is a boozing day.
I know when the party is peaked and 5 minutes
Yeah,
later
when you
we
throw
gotta
'em
go.
out.
Yeah, I know.
Felicia has a Christmas party and throws us out. The party's kicking. The blow is about to arrive, and all of a sudden Felicia's like, everybody's got to go.
I know. And I
fuck?
blamed it on my kids. Like, the kids got to go to sleep. You guys got to get the fuck out of here.
She threw everybody out.
I did.
She took that fucking, put the needle on the record. It just stopped. The needle just stopped. Like, no more fucking guess that tune, no more nothing.
I know. Well, that's the thing. It's like I had been through that fucking blizzard with my kids. I'd put the chains on, take the chains off, put the chains on, and drove down from Mammoth. And then got ready for it was a kick-ass party, though. Got ready for the party. But then at around 11:30, I was like, fuck this. It's Christmas. Get the fuck out.
I got a picture. I got a present coming. I had an artist do a picture of my ball sack without the veins and my cock just for you, so you can hang in the living room with your other art. It's coming. You know what I'm saying?
What do I tell my kids it is?
Don't worry about nothing. Don't tell them nothing. Just say it's art.
It's art, baby.
That's
it's
art.
art.
What is that? What is that? What do you feel from that picture? And all of a sudden they sit there, nothing. A sudden urge to scratch my nuts. Damn.
Wow. So we're just watching Leonard Skinner on YouTube. What's the video?
1976 from Nedworth. It's right before, well, it was a year before they released Street Survivors. One of the greatest albums ever. And I had forgotten about Leonard Skinner because I grew up in downtown North Bergen. And they were like white rednecks. Like some of the hippies down there were like white rednecks.
Right.
And they liked the Outlaws and they liked Leonard Skinner and Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush. So when I was a kid, I'd go see Frank Marino and the Outlaws and all that shit. I never got to see Leonard Skinner, but I had a buddy who died who was really into Leonard Skinner. I mean, he was a Sicilian kid. And we would go to his house and get high and listen to that whole Saturday Night Special and all that shit. It was just brilliant. I've always loved the Southern, everybody has their little secrets,
Right.
like I said. And I've always been a tweaker for the South. Like, if it was up to me, give me a gun and a hat, and I would be perfect for that shit. I'm scared of, like, pigeons and stuff, but, I could ride a horse. You know what I'm saying? That's why I ended up with a woman from Tennessee.
You could ride a horse, but you would be like, oh, the pigeon.
Yeah, it's going too fucking fast. And I've always loved that whole thing. Like, I was a closet Dallas Cowboy fan growing up. I love the Houston Rockets. I always loved the Houston Rockets growing up with Moses Malone and stuff. But this shit, listen, man, there's music out there you listen to. And like people say now the music industry's dying because people aren't selling CDs. So these musicians have to go out and tour. And they're not really musicians. They can't tour. They're great in the studio. Did you listen to that fucking Saturday Night Special?
Yeah,
that was
great.
live.
Yeah.
Now, go on YouTube and they got Saturday Night Special. I think I posted it on our Facebook the other day. But they also have these videos, these black and white videos that were made and not Simple Man, but it's That Smell, which is about the two Ronnie Van Zant crashing his car because they were just going crazy. These just weren't regular white guys. These were fucking superhuman white motherfuckers from Florida that I love. I love all that craziness. Them, the Allman Brothers, I love that shit. These are the guys that built this fucking country. Willie Nelson. These are the motherfuckers that drank. They didn't talk about rehabs. Leonard Skinner didn't go to a fucking rehab. They crashed a fucking plane. You know what I'm saying? There was no rehab. There was no hugs. These motherfuckers were animals. Listen to this music. It's animalistic. And they're just playing 3 guitars, a keyboard, a drummer, a fucking piano, 3 hot, white, dirty chicks that been sucking dick on a motorcycle but could sing their hearts out. I mean, this was real. This is what America was built at. And we don't even think about Leonard Skinner. Like nothing. And it's amazing how they had an album cover, Street Survivors, and then they crashed the plane. And they had flames behind like the 3 guys that died. So the
Oh,
record company
right,
had to take
right.
the flames up from behind the
Yeah.
three guys. It's just so many stories. But then when they were on tour, they were on tour with Ted Nugent opening up for them. Are you fucking kidding me? I can't even think of that in my head. Ted Nugent on the Cat Scratch Fever album,
Oh, right,
coming up
right.
with these motherfuckers on I think it was Giving Back My Bullets, that album.
Right, right.
It's just a lot of people say, oh, I like when you talk about music. This is the shit that drives me
Well, I remember when I
insane.
was a teenage girl, I played Ted Nugent all weekend and all the plants in the house died.
Fuck yeah, that's what they're
I
supposed to do. I
mean-
mean, the good Ted, like that fucking Stranglehold, like when he had that one singer, because Ted was Ted, but then when he lost Jack St. Holmes, whatever the guy's name was, it was done because Ted was trying to sing. Weekend Warriors is a great album, but it was done with Cat Scratch Fever. And Stranglehold to this day is one of my favorite jams of all time. Jennifer Aniston, Don't Suck Dick, but when that bitch dances to Stranglehold and Rockstar, you feel it, motherfucker. When she comes out with that little see-through dress on, you're like,
Right.
Jennifer Aniston is sucked. You could talk her into sucking a dick if you had to.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? You could talk her into it. She's got that little freak in her and shit. She just gets confused and thinks
wow,
she's Courtney
wow.
Cox, and then she don't want to suck dick. But
Well, I
no, but
don't
I'm telling
know.
you
Yeah.
guys, if you're I'm really into classic rock. And me and my wife went to Burbank, and we were pissed off because I can't download music. I don't know how to do it.
Are
And
you fucking
oh, it's a
serious?
fucking
Shut
nightmare.
up.
My iPod is
Really?
old school, so I can't download the music. So I got 600 songs that I've been listening to for the last year over and over again. And
Oh,
I
I know.
got,
I was in the car with you in your music, and you do have like a
yeah,
certain set amount of
yeah,
songs. You need to
right.
remedy that.
So what happened was, with how much CDs are, they're fucking expensive. And then
Right.
you go to the store, you want to buy a CD. I'm not paying $19 for the wall for the ninth time. I've already shoplifted that album 3 times and bought it 3 times. I've already paid $20 for War Pigs. I've already paid $20 for Sabotage.
Right.
I'm not gonna pay $24.99. They wanted $29.99 for fucking physical graffiti. Are you kidding me? They wanted like 19 for Pat Benatar, Crimes of Passion. I'm not doing it. But as we're walking out, what do we see on the shelf? Leonard Skinner's Greatest Hits for $7.99, a 2 CD thing, and I put it in the car. It hasn't come out. It
Right.
hasn't come out. I mean, it's got
Nice.
all the heat on them. And listen, guys, you really want to hear a song from the heart, you put on Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin, I'm Gonna Ramble.
Yeah.
When he's breaking it down, I got to ramble. Listen, Led Zeppelin's Led Zeppelin. When that crazy Ronnie Van Zant, and I'm getting emotional, when
I
he
know
wrote,
you're tearing up,
oh, when
Joey.
when that motherfucker wrote Freebird, you listen to that Freebird. You listen to the guitar on Freebird, and you get back to me, bitch. I think we miscalculate a lot of things when people are gone. You people, please, just get Street fucking Survivors and put it on and get back to me. There was one guy, Nelia Samuels, who's
Uh-huh.
on my Twitter, and he's also on Facebook, and he's like me. He goes, every time I put Leonard Skinner on, I want to take my shirt off and do an 8-ball. That's what... That's what you want to do. You're like, where has this fucking music been? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's my New Year's
Every
tip.
time I hear Leonard Skinner, I think, and a lot of women, we always want to make sure our zipper's up and and our back is
Oh,
on
fuck
the
yeah.
wall.
It's
We want to
real
make sure
crazy
we
ass.
have our eyeball on every motherfucker in the room.
These guys would not have been on Twitter. These guys would have done nothing like that. These guys, if they were alive today, would have still been blowing it up.
Have you ever done tantric sex?
What's that? With a book? It's like doing yoga and fucking at the same time.
Yeah, have
I
you
don't
ever
have
done
that
that?
much patience for that
Really?
shit.
You've never done that ever once?
I watched the film one night on Cinemax or something. A bunch of Hindus fucking and turning
Yeah.
around doing yoga and fucking and sucking.
Did you like how it looked?
No.
You didn't?
No,
Didn't
it's-
make it twitch down there? No? Have you ever been with a woman that said we should do tantric sex?
No, I don't even know what that is, Felicia. What is it? Where you breathe and fuck at the same time? I don't know. What are you bothering me with these questions for? It's 2 early in the morning bothering me with this stuff. Tantric sex. Oh,
Wow. All right.
does it include eating pussy and all that shit? That's what I like doing. Eating ass from behind. I like all that stuff. Spanking. All that, then I'm
Do you
in.
like to spank?
When you get fired up,
Yeah.
there's a point where a guy gets fired up. You don't know whether you're going to come or stab her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you feel like getting a knife and stabbing her. But, I don't know about tantra sex. What do you hit me with these
I'm
quizzes
just
for?
asking you.
We're going to talk about an iPhone next and really throw my
Yes.
fucking day off, you fuck. Fucking iPhones, tantra sex. I can't comprehend this shit. It's just too tough, Uncle Joey. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, poor you. do.
So have you tried it, Felicia? Obviously, you're in the market to try it. So break it down. Break it down for Uncle Joey. That's what women do. They always run shit by you first. Have you heard of it? Then the next day they show up with a book. I think we should try it. How about you? Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What do you get me all fired up
No,
for?
it's just, because it's about, making the pleasure last for a very long time and not, not just fucking and there you go and you come and you go, go about your business. So it's more about making it last longer and about the different positions and,
How long have you been doing it for
breathing.
now?
What do you mean?
Come on. About 2 months ago, you walked in here with a limp and a stick neck. He fucked you 8 times. So he must be breathing and jumping up and down and eating mineral herbs. I'll never forget that day. I walked in here. I thought she was going to quit the podcast. She had beady eyes. She was all nervous. She had a fucking limp. What happened to you? You fell on the stairs?
I was shriveled like a fucking
she wouldn't even say
raisin.
nothing
It
to
was
me.
terrible. I could tell in my voice. I was like, "How you
She had a
doing?"
canteen of water. She was all dried up.
By the way, if you would like to email us, we do read the emails. Sometimes I answer them. Mostly Joey answers them because, quite frankly, people love themselves some Joey Diaz. And you can email us at beautyandthebeastpodcast@gmail.com, or you can email us through our website, or you can leave a comment for us on the website. And yes, if they're naughty, I do go and erase them. Some guy said... I got mad because you're using your word patois. You're using it incorrectly, and but I think that's part of your charm. Like when you say instead of saying mortified, you always say mummified.
Yeah.
And I think it's cute.
So what's the word for patois?
I don't know. But
Right away, everybody's a fucking English teacher.
I know, like
Go fuck
it's
yourself,
like
all right?
If you're an English teacher, why are you listening to
why
our
are you listening
fucking
to this
podcast?
shit for? Right away, they want to correct you and shit like that. I don't know. Patois, I heard that in France in '82, and it stuck. That's it.
I like the way he uses the word patois.
Sometimes you gotta use, sometimes you gotta drop big words on these people.
Yeah,
I don't
so
want
kiss his patois.
That's right. Kiss my patois, cocksucker. Somebody emailed me to stop saying cocksucker. I've been saying it for 30 years.
Someone emailed you to stop saying cocksucker?
Cocksucker.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but I don't. When I say it to people, I don't mean them like they are really a cocksucker. It's like saying I love you.
It's lost its venom to me. Like cocksucker.
Yeah, it's just a word. Last night, some girl on Sunset, as I was coming home, I didn't even know what it was. You know how some people decide in the lane that they want to go into the left lane now?
Right.
So her ass was sticking out. So there's a green light, and there's 20 cars. And finally, the guy in front moved up a little bit, and she moves in. And as I get to her, I lower my window, and I'm talking to somebody on the phone, the fucking whatever that is. And I go, watch this. This girl just cut me off. And I pulled up next. I didn't even know she was a girl. It was a girl. It was a girl driving with some nerdy guy next to her. I go, and they looked at me right then. I go, cocksucker! And they both just jumped in the car. I got drunk. When I was a kid, I wouldn't get hit. Like my stepdad raised me different. He would make me do lines. Like, I will not curse at my mother in Spanish. And in English, he'd make me write them, like 22 pages.
I meant like lines.
And I mean, all fucking day, I would have like a breather to eat. Then back
really?
to the... Oh, yeah, my stepdad was a disciplinarian, one of those. And then the deal was that people would come over the house, like to bet books, numbers, or whatever they were betting. And they would say, what's up with Coco? How come he's right? And they would explain to the person, tell him why you're fucking writing.
Right.
Because I told mommy to go fuck herself. Then those people would sit down, like whoever friend of my mom's would talk to me and say, you can't say that to your mom, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go over there and talk to your dad and mom. If you promise not to curse again, I'll have them. My mom used to call that lifting the towel. I would be eating with them, and then my mom would say, don't say a word. You just got out of punishment. You're lucky Felicia came over and got the towel lifted from you, cocksucker. Because if not, you'd still be in that room writing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that's how my mom would work it. Like, people come over and they go, why is he writing? Tell him why you writing. I didn't come home at 8. And then, bro, you got to be a man. You know what I'm saying? You got to behave yourself. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go talk to your mom and figure this whole thing out. If I talk to your mom, will you come home from now on? Yeah, okay. And then he'd go in the room. They giggle in there, do a bumper coke. They put me on the rocks. I'd be sweating there. Keep writing. I'd write, and then they come out. Okay, we discussed it. You're done.
Okay. Well.
No more writing. And I would have to behave myself for like 2 weeks.
Right.
But that's how I got this. Then my mother would snap and just beat the fuck out of me.
Well, yeah, I can't beat my kids anymore. I never actually. Did you? So you got spankings a lot when you were. How old were you when your mother stopped giving you a spanking? That's my question.
Oh, she gave me the last spanking of her life a week before she died.
Really?
I told you the story. She smacked me in the fucking face when I was 14, a week before she died. Yeah, we didn't play games at my house. There was no timeouts. There was no hugs. You got it mentioned to you, and the next time something just hits you. It could be an ashtray. It could be a pot. It could be a hand. It could be a fucking... It could be a cigarette. It could be
Right.
anything.
See, I was lucky when I was a teenager. This sounds so wrong, but because my mother was handicapped, she couldn't chase after me. You know.
Oh, yeah, you can tell, I dare you, bitch. What?
I know.
I'll put you in the closet and shut the door. You know what I'm saying?
No, but kind of, sort of. But no. But yeah. So I didn't have that. So there was no fear when I was growing up. You know, it was all mental torture. It was all mental games. There was no.
I swear to God, I'll put you in the closet and shut the When I was a kid, I robbed this jewelry store, and I had to go to Florida. And I had to go to Florida to hide for a month. To Sarasota, Florida, where boredom was invented. And the kid I hung out with there, Gary Hartman, used to throw beatings on his father from time to time.
Really?
He would pick him up and throw him across the room. I would like, Hartman, what are you doing? Hartman was a big muscle, steroid fucking kid that was gigantic. That's all right. There's a plane going down
There's
here,
a
folks.
huge plane, geez.
Huge fucking plane landing in Burbank.
Did you ever hit your stepfather?
Are you fucking kidding me? I wouldn't even dream of raising my hand to my stepfather. Not even as a joke.
Really?
Not even as a joke.
Because he was a badass?
He was, it was a different kind of person, man. The other day I gave my uncle an Abaquá album. Abaquás are those people in Cuba that respect the dogs, and they're kind of crazy. And he started telling me a story. He goes, you know, when I was living in Cuba as a kid, you couldn't go to their parties. Those people were like fucking crazy, and they'd stab you at the parties, and and I told him, I go, that's what Juan was. He was an Abaquá. He goes, don't remind me. But that guy was from a different cut. I couldn't raise him. If I raised my hand to Juan, he would knock me the fuck out and probably stab me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he would probably stab me or something. That's why him and my mother broke up, because he was trying to discipline me, and I was like, fuck you. And my mom was getting in between us. So he finally told my mom, great, when he becomes a problem, don't come crying to me. You know, he had a certain way of disciplining me, and my mom had a certain way of disciplining me. And even though my mom was a little heavy-handed, she still had that mom thing. Oh, let him off the hook. He won't do it again. Where he was, no, this is how you raise a fucking kid. And I got to be honest with you, he had the right approach from me. If my mother would have died and I would have moved in with him afterward, I would have been across from you right here. I would have been something completely different.
Like what?
Like a fireman or some anal motherfucker. Who, I don't know. I just, his whole thing was something completely different.
Yeah.
You know, he was such a tough guy like that. I would never even dream. And he got stronger as he got older. Like when he was 50, my dad would fuck you up. That was his peak. When I was like 16, thinking I was a man, I was hearing shit from the other side of things he was doing to people, stabbing people. He got into a fight when he was 52. He took the gun off a kid and shot both of them with it. I mean, there was no daylight with this motherfucker. And I had to take my heart out to him. I mean, you know, he fought for what he believed in. It's weird because right now I'm trying to write something about him lately, and I'm trying to write what good qualities he had. And he was a great cook. He was very warm to me as a child. He was just extremely warm. But that shit would change. It would just drop, Felicia. And it would go from 0 to 60. It wasn't like he yelled at you or something. He would fucking do something to you, like cut you or hit you with a fucking, those spray guns in the face, the onion that makes the tear gas.
Yeah.
He just had all that weaponry. He was one of those crazy motherfuckers. He'd attack you from all angles. So no, I would never raise my hand to the fucker. I got a Twitter yesterday from an interesting guy, Bobby Mandalay or something, cool motherfucker on Twitter. He said something to me that, he said, you are a loser, you know? And he wrote that I am a loser, that, you know, like in other words, I don't know exactly, but just because success took away what I had done. Like that erased. That's what I read. That's what I read into the message that he wrote to me.
Oh, wow.
Which was very interesting. I wrote, you know, I put it out there for people to know it. And no, I don't think that redemption is what you feel. You know, and when I come on the podcast and I say these stories, I mean, I've gotten emails and people have pulled me aside and said, "Dog, don't you know that the statute of limitations and these stories you tell?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, you know, that's my redemption. Me being able to come on here and talk about this shit
Right.
and live my life. You know, redemption is what you make of it. You know what I'm saying? Like some guy came on Fox Sports, Fox News, and attacked Michael Vick that he should be shot. Fuck yeah, I felt bad about it when he was doing that to those dogs. Every time I touch a dog, I think about, Jesus, Michael Vick could have kidnapped this dog and fed. Or it wasn't even Michael Vick; it was his cohorts. You know, but it's still how you know he put it behind him. And he goes out there and throws touchdowns. That's his job. What do people want from him? Do people want you to live in a fucking hut because you fucked up somewhere when you were young for all the wrong reasons and sit there and put a scarlet on your shirt? Or do you move forward? And redemption is moving fucking forward with your life. Like, hey, I did, and some things you're not going to agree with. I didn't agree with OJ killing his wife. I don't agree with a fucking guy molesting a child. But do you want him to live in hell? All right, I get pissed off when the guy gets out of prison and molests a child again. But it's not like I got out of prison and kept kidnapping and kept hurting people. I did what I did. I learned from it. And I took the experience, and that's redemption. Whether you suck a dick, whether you mug some fucking guy in a strip club, whatever the fuck it is, whether you take a wig off I told you that story, and after I told you the story for a week or so, I felt guilty about it, that what she had gone through, like we made her go over the bridge and yelling and screaming, and fuck, that's heavy on your psyche. Right. You know, that Vela kid didn't get back to me on the kidnapping. That's just a scratch of the surface. Those are the stories I remember, bitches. Those are the stories I remember in all this shit. And in all my crimes, there were some people who got hurt. There were some people who didn't, you know, but there's always a fucking victim. When you walk into somebody's house and go through their shit, that's enough of a victim. And I wasn't like a third-degree burglar like that went into people's homes like random. I went into your house because I knew you had a kilo of coke in the house or $2,000 cash from a coke deal in the house. And that's why I tell people, sometimes when you do wrong shit, it attracts other wrong shit. If you carry a gun, people are going to attack you with a gun. So when you get robbed, when you're a coke dealer, that's part of the patois. That's part of the karma you're putting out there. So I've never justified any of the things I've done. No, fuck no. I'm wrong for what I did. But redemption is moving forward.
But oh, absolutely, redemption is moving forward. But not everyone can be redeemed, Joey. I mean, you know, some people need to be, you know,
listen, man.
Away. You know what I mean? Some people need to be. I think what people need to understand is that this has been a long, slow ride for you to get to this point.
Oh, please. I'm 40-something years old.
Yeah. You know, this took you a long time to get here and to pull your life together and to do a lot of stuff. And that's the other thing. Yes, there is redemption, and redemption is moving forward. But also recognizing that you have to make some changes and pay it forward again to people, because that's part of it. And that's I think that's what's difficult for people to get over, is like sometimes you gotta just, when you fuck up, you gotta eat some shit for a while, and you know what I mean? That's part of the redemption.
You feel fucking horrible about it. Like I said, I wake up nights and I go, fuck, I can't believe I did that, 10 years ago. And I'll go in the other room and write about it. So I can talk about it on here, or I talk about it on there. I mean, I still have 20 years untapped that I haven't even gotten into, that I even remember with the Kessler years. Like, we remember one of the funniest stories with Kessler after we left here. I had this kid come up to me. His name was Danny Rendi. He was a good-looking Italian kid, but he had been raised in Colorado. And he came up to me one day. I mean, the kid sat me down. He's like, listen, man, my dream in my life has been to be in the mafia. And I go, so what can I do for you? He goes, you know people. Can you get me in? And I'm thinking, he goes, I got like 10,000 in the bank. I give you the cash right now to get me in the mafia. I'm looking at this guy like, really? You really got that money? Give me 5,000. Let me see what I can do for you. And this kid went to the bank, gave me $5,000 or something. I don't know what the amount was. I remember calling Kessler, going, Kessler, I got to talk to you about something. Telling Mike, and he's howling. And then Mike's like, you're lying to me. Then going, Mike, come on, I'm going to put you as the patsy. You're going to be the gangster from New York that's going to initiate him and shit. Bring in Mike over there. And I'm like, this is Mike. He flew in with that $5,000.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. It was terrible.
Mike being your friend that was here on the podcast.
Yeah, on the podcast. He was the guy from New York. And for 6 months, every time I'd see the guy, he goes, Guy, the guy never called me back from New York. Am I really a Columbo? And I'm like, dog, you're in the mob. I got to just go to Brooklyn, pick up your paperwork. And this guy actually believed it.
Oh,
like this
my
one, he's
gosh.
like, man, I'm getting that plane ticket. Can you come next week? I can't. I got a comedy gig. You know how
Wow.
bad I feel about that
Well,
now?
whatever happened to that
He
guy?
disappeared or
Well,
something.
yeah, I bet he
Who the
did.
fuck knows?
I bet he did. You know, jeez.
But I banged that guy for like 8 grand.
Yeah, well, but you did that guy a favor, because that guy would have stumbled upon trouble no matter what.
No
He
matter
was
what.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
had the funniest. He had a girlfriend from Brooklyn. I mean, this guy was trying to do everything he could to be a gangster. I had never seen this before. He went and put like an ad out in a Brooklyn paper, like the Post, looking for Brooklyn girl to come out to Colorado. And he got this girl on the thing, hysterical story. And I'm going to do in fact, I was going to open for Carlos Mencia, summer of '95 in Denver at some arena. And it's me and Jimmy Abate, and he's got me in the back. Danny Rendy is driving me with this girl from New York. And the girl is Snooki. I mean, the girl was Snooki, whatever. And she's like in the front seat, like, I'm a singer and all this shit. He's like, well, if you're a singer, sing, bitch. He would make this bitch sing anywhere. Like, I'd never seen that before. We go to like a church and they go, you need music? Hold on 1 second. Sing, bitch. And she would break into like a Gloria Gaynor song.
Oh.
Horrible singer.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible. It was the worst thing you ever heard.
We got an email. Did you see this email? Mental illness versus mental weakness.
Brilliant email.
That was a great email, right?
Brilliant email.
It was love the show when you were talking about celebrity rehab and how change can't be imposed. I wanted to know your views about mental illness. And he goes on to share some stuff about his family and all that kind of stuff. But he just wants to know what are our thoughts about mental illness versus mental weakness. Is it the same thing? Is it not the same thing?
Well, mental illness against mental weakness is two different fucking things here. What really gets to me is mental illness. You know when somebody's not right. Doesn't take no swami from salami to know when somebody's not right, especially here in LA. I've run into more people out here with mental illness than I thought. That later on, you see it. At first, they come out and they're comedians and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you realize that, wow, this guy could have mental illness. There's something not right there.
Right.
You know, I bumped into a comic a couple months ago that scared the fuck out of me.
Oh, really?
And this is something that this guy was a well-known comic on Saturday Night Live and on Mad TV. And I always knew there was a problem. You know, it didn't take a genius. I liked the guy, but I keep him at arm's distance. And he came up to me and said he had just gotten released and he blamed everything on the pills, that he was in jail for 30 days because he forgot to take his medication and blah, 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 blah. That's mental illness. And I could tell for years he's had something right. And if you know you want to see mental illness at its best, you go to the Comedy Store on Sunday night for open mic. It's not an open mic. It's a mental illness night. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not being funny.
I know.
You want to see mental illness,
know,
you go to the store on Sunday night.
I know.
And you see mental illness. Mental weakness right now, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm smoking a cigarette. I quit smoking. I never smoked till I was 30. And I smoked in LA, and I was up to 2 packs a day without the coke. Add 2 more packs a day. I quit 5 years ago, 6 years ago. The last 8 months, I've been smoking part-time. This is mental weakness.
Right.
The beauty of it is I know I could quit. I know that there's 3-4 days a week I don't smoke. When I don't see you guys, I don't come here. I don't go out at night to do comedy. I'm around my wife. I don't smoke. I walk out to do a comedy show or a podcast. I stop and get cigarettes.
Right.
I still smoke weed.
But this is what I was going to say, Joey. I have this friend who had, a long time ago, who had a brother who was institutionalized. And I guess what had happened is he was on an airplane and everyone got off and he refused to get out of the plane and they had to go send marshals and drag him out. and she told me that she had went to go visit him and said to him, and as they were dragging him out, he was being a dog and trying to bite everybody, like literally like, and, going after people like that. And when she went to go visit him, she said, why did you act like a dog? What was that? What's going on? And he was just like, you know what? I just thought it would feel good. And when she told me that story, that made me think, like, sometimes when you're in the midst of doing something really terrible, it kind of makes you feel good. You know what I mean? The idea of, haven't you ever done something really insane and in the middle of the insanity, you're like, this feels pretty good because you're like, fuck it. You know what I mean? And so that's where I get confused about where does mental illness stop and where does mental weakness
Mental
take
illness is
on.
somebody who gets a check once a fucking month, Felicia.
No, I know
Who you
that, but I'm
know
just
there's
saying
something
because
wrong with them.
then how much or I'm saying it in an argument of then how much responsibility do you have? You know, if you're bipolar, are you responsible for all your actions when you're having an episode? You know what I mean? Or you know, are you only, you know, it's like people who drink a lot and are alcoholics and they don't they blame everything on the alcoholism and not like, hey, I fucked up and it was my weakness too. That's what I think the email was about, like that. You know what I mean? What
I
are your
don't
views
know.
on that?
I don't fucking know that.
All
My
right.
views, if you're weak mentally. Like I'm smoking this cigarette right now. I know I
Right.
shouldn't smoke it, but I'm smoking. Am I enjoying it? Fuck no. That's mental fucking weakness
But
right
when
there.
you were in the middle of all your cocaine and all that, did you think that was mental weakness,
Fuck
or
yeah.
did you feel like it was complete chemical addiction?
It was mental weakness.
Yeah.
Mental weakness. Come on, let's get down to basics here.
So when
You
you
could just throw
quit
so
doing,
much sugar on every fucking topic. So I got a D in school, so your kid's got ADD. No, your kid needs a smack to the fucking head. You got to take him away from the television and show him, you know what I'm saying? You can't keep blaming everything on illnesses and weaknesses and whatever. We know what we're getting ourselves into. You're 400 fucking pounds. You want to lose weight, but you got an ice cream cone in your hand. Come on, guy. That's mental weakness. There's big differences. You tell me you want to
you
quit
don't
drinking,
think that someone could be mentally ill? You know, that's
to a degree, but not everything is a fucking illness. We
right.
can't keep saying everything is a fucking illness, guy. You know, not everything is an illness. Sometimes people are fucking weak. And I was one of those people. And that's what I meant to say last week when I was talking about being a loser, that I know the talk. I know the signs. I know the lies I used to tell myself about tomorrow is going to be the day. I'm not going to do coke. You know, these people you talk to, and they call you and they take 2 hours of your fucking time. And they tell you how they're sick of this in comedy, how they're going to change their life. Then you call them 3 days later, do a fucking open mic, and they go, no, my girlfriend's here. What are you talking about, guy? That's mental weakness.
Right.
You're going to get the same results you've always had. That's what insanity is. Doing the same things, right? That's a definition of insanity. Doing the same things over and over with the same fucking result. Every time I did a gram of coke and I wake up in the morning, yeah, you feel better. Oh, the creatine goes out of your mind and you feel depressed. What the fuck are you talking about? Sure, I'm depressed. I just blew my fucking rent money over some chick who had a period. I didn't know she had a period. I went and got an 8-ball and the chick's got a fucking string coming out of her pussy. And I did the whole 8-ball. I missed my audition because I thought the chick was going to give me a piece of ass. And she started crying about she had a boyfriend. That's mental fucking weakness. You follow me? That's mental fucking weakness right there. You know, there's different levels of it, man. I know when somebody's fucking crazy. My buddy John Reed jumped off 9th floor and landed in a dumpster, tried to kill himself, landed in a fucking dumpster. That's mental illness. He can't stop drinking. He gets his disability check every month, goes to the bar, gives it to him, and they tell him when the check's over with. He drinks the whole fucking thing. That's mental illness. But, you know, some guy who's, oh, well, I have a disease. It's in my family. Really? If it's a disease, why is there a fucking shot for it? Where's the shot for it?
Right.
I don't know, Felicia. I feel this is the things I learned from Juan. We were talking about my dad before. That was his thinking. You know, you didn't fucking go to school today because you were sick. Now you want to go out and you're healed at 3. No. You have to be responsible for your fucking actions. I was a loser when I was snorting coke. It wasn't because mommy died or because I was sad or lonely or comedians. After they get off stage, they want to keep that elegy going, so they go by. Really? Jerry Seinfeld goes and keeps that party up every night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to tell me. That's the excuse we give ourselves.
Right.
When I seen that show, like I was thinking of quitting, then I seen the thing on Kennison. Oh, comedians love to keep the. So really? So that gives me the right to go by. That's how I was thinking.
Right.
And that's how we're programmed to think. And that's the insanity angle of it. Doing the same thing with the same fucking results. Belushi snorted heroin and coke and killed himself. Fucking Chris, whatever, the fat fuck, Chris Farley died the same. He didn't know. He didn't know. That's mental illness. That's retardation. That's what that calls. You're a stupid fuck. Every year, December 26th, we sit in front of the TV with our kids and you look at people at airports laying down with blankets. And every year, what do you say to yourself? Look at those dumb fucks. Do you not say that to yourself? And 3 years from now, you'll meet a guy, and he's going to say, hey, let's meet in fucking Bulgaria on the 26th, and there's Felicia with her little pussy. Yeah, okay. And then when you're stuck in Newark in 22 inches of snow, you're one of those faculties, and you look up at the camera and go, I fucked up. You know, I fucked up.
Yeah, but sometimes when you're in the midst of that kind of a disaster, it can be a learning experience, Joey Diaz.
Fuck you. New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. Let me tell you something. For the last month, I looked at that calendar, and I was supposed to go with Rogan to New Year's Eve. Guys, I'll tell you on the radio right now, I did not want to go. I don't care what the paycheck was. I don't care how bad I needed the money. I did not want to go to Vegas on New Year's. I don't give a fuck when anybody says you're a pussy. I didn't want to go. I don't belong there. I'm not going to get no satisfaction. The only satisfaction I got out of that show was the $2,000. In the back of my mind, I would have been thinking about fucking this and that, and I would have been happy. They pushed the show to the 4th of February for Super Bowl weekend. I was ecstatic. I was never so happy in all my life. You know why? Because New Year's Eve, unless you gave me a huge envelope, I was going to sit at home and scratch my balls. I wasn't even going to watch Dick Clark. And my plans were to go to bed at 10.
Right.
And then I got my spaghetti sauce from my sister-in-law, her recipe, which was brilliant. Essie Kolodinsky, I love you for the sauce. I made that. I got some lobster tails for $6.99. I cut those up. We got some cake. And I stayed at home. 4 in the afternoon, I got a call from a dear friend of mine, Damon Zwicker.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, he's a great guy.
And he says to me, bro, I got some steaks. I got some shrimp. I'd like for you to come over for New Year's Eve.
Oh, nice.
And I was all fired up. And I said, you know what? How many times have you had plans? And you fucking were dead on those plans. And all of a sudden, at the last minute, some fucking Momo calls you. And when you drive out there, your car breaks, you get an explosion. And all of a sudden, as you're getting towed, you're saying to yourself, I had fucking plans. Why did I fucking go out? So I didn't go out to Damon's. And
you didn't?
No, fuck no. I had plans. The Vita was coming over, and I was making the sauce, and I had plans. I was eating they gave me a free chocolate cake at the weed store, plus I bought a banana cake. By 6 o'clock, I was giggling, making the sauce by myself. I wasn't getting in that fucking
I can always tell when you eat that banana bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, shit.
And that's what I'm talking about. You had plans. Where the fuck are you going to go? Why are you going to go make other plans when you had plans?
Right.
They always fuck up. 4 out of 10 times it'll work out. The other 6, something bad will happen or something will happen that you're like, why did I leave the fucking house? That's how I live my life. You follow me?
I'm following you, Joey Diaz.
I have plans on New Year's. That's the point of this.
That was the point of that story. But wasn't that a great email about a discussion of mental illness versus mental weakness?
And that's the weakness. A weak motherfucker would have gone out, got a DUI. Me, the toughness was I stayed home and I stuck to it.
That's right, because you are king of all. Please, if you ever have
Why are you calling me the king of all?
Because you are king of all.
No, I'm just telling you that this is the decision you make.
I'm totally serious. When I say you're king of all, I'm like, I worship at your altar. I'm totally fucking serious,
I'm telling you guys,
Joey.
I listened to this podcast. I went on 83 and I seen some bad shit. And as much as a junkie as I was all those years, do you know on New Year's I wouldn't do blow or drink?
No, you said that
As
before.
bad as I wanted to do coke. I was in Miami for New Year's 3 years in a row. I was in El Paso for New Year's, the cocaine capital of the country.
Yeah.
And I would sit there on New Year's and watch people. And I'd go home straight as an arrow, smoke a joint and go to bed. And people would say, why don't you party on New Year's? I made my decision and I stuck to it.
Right.
Even though I was a filthy fucking junkie, I stuck to it.
No, that's pretty
And
amazing.
that's
yeah,
mental.
Absolutely.
That's opposite mental weakness.
Yeah.
But guess what? From January 1st
Pure mental weakness.
to December 30th. So I was strong one day out of 365.
Yeah.
But that was my point. I was strong for that. And I stuck to it. And
sometimes you need to have a little, your foot in a little bit of something like that. You know what I mean? Whatever I would do. Oh, when I was a stripper, whenever I would strip, I could go out and do whatever I had to do. But if I didn't drink when I did it, then it was okay. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
no,
that's
sometimes you have to have your foot in a little bit of reality when
pick
you're
your battles.
out
I'll
jumping
suck
off
a
the
dick.
edge. Yeah.
I'll let you fuck me, but don't even think of putting a finger in my ass.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? You can light my hair on fire. You can stick 10 dicks up my ass.
Do not stick a finger in my ass. I hate that.
Don't
I
even
hate
think
that.
of coming in my mouth.
I
You know what I'm saying?
hate that. The finger up my ass. I don't know. Are there women that really like to have it in the ass? We've talked about this before. Yeah. You don't want to talk about ass
I don't talk
fucking
about
right
finger
now.
in the ass.
You...
It's New Year's Day. Why start on that topic? You know what I'm saying?
Joey has morals.
I got morals.
Yeah, we gotta at least wait till the 3rd or the 4th.
Yeah, it's the fucking 2nd. We're talking about fingers in the ass.
Anyway, if you guys want to send us more topics for us to pontificate upon, please email us at beautyandthebeastpodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave it on our message board, or you can email us through our website at beautyandthebeast.com. And we do read all your emails, and a lot of them are, all of them are pretty
fucking
goddamn
good.
cool.
Yeah. I get a lot
to
from the
hear what
emails.
people say and what people share with us, and people do share a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's cool to share a secret with someone that you don't have to look at every fucking day. You know what I mean?
No, and I appreciate it because you keep me sharp. I read a lot of the emails sometimes, and they'll take me 3 days to answer because I have to think about my answer.
Oh
I got to think
yeah,
about both sides of the fence, and
exactly.
and get it together that way. But listen, guys, like we said before, 2011, we have a lot of big things on the horizon for us and
Yes,
for you
we
guys.
do. Yes, yes.
So please keep listening, tune in, and thank you for all your support in 2010, and we're going to be that much better in 2011.